you kidding me right now? Liv Morgan and the Judgment Day just got told to kick rocks by Raquel Rodriguez, and I'm sitting here absolutely fuming at how WWE is handling what could have been the most explosive faction storyline of 2025. They had gold in their hands, and they're about to fumble it harder than Roman Reigns fumbled his last title defense. But before I lose my mind completely, let me break down exactly what happened on Raw and why this rejection might be the dumbest or smartest move Raquel has ever made. Stick around because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see this entire situation. Monday Night Raw just delivered one of those moments that makes you stand up from your couch and scream at your television. Raquel Rodriguez, the absolute powerhouse who's been on a tear through the women's division, looked Liv Morgan dead in the eyes and essentially said, "Thanks but no thanks," to joining the most dominant faction in WWE right now. And you know what? The internet is divided. Half of you are calling Raquel a hero for staying independent, and the other half think she just made the biggest career mistake since Zack Ryder turned down Evolution. But here's what nobody's talking about, and it's going to blow your mind. Let's rewind for a second. The Judgment Day has been running roughshod over WWE for months now. They've got championships, they've got power, they've got numbers. Liv Morgan went from being dismissed as just Liv to becoming one of the most protected performers on the roster under their umbrella. When Judgment Day extends an invitation, it's not just an offer. It's basically a golden ticket to relevance in WWE's current landscape. So when Raquel Rodriguez, who's been fighting tooth and nail to climb back up after injuries and stop-start momentum, gets that offer and rejects it, brother, that's either confidence or career suicide, and I can't figure out which one yet. Here's where it gets interesting, and why I'm absolutely heated about this whole situation. Raquel didn't just politely decline. She didn't say, "Let me think about it," or leave the door open. She looked at the supposed women's revolution that Liv Morgan has been leading under the Judgment Day banner and essentially spat in their faces. Now, from a storyline perspective, that's incredible. That's the kind of babyface fire that WWE has been missing for years. But from a practical, backstage politics perspective, Raquel just painted a target on her back the size of Texas, and I'm not sure WWE is going to protect her the way they protect Judgment Day members. Think about this for a second and really let it sink in. Every single person who's gone against Judgment Day in the past year has either been destroyed, humiliated, or forced to join them eventually. Finn Balor built this group from the ashes of the old Judgment Day. Damian Priest was the muscle until his exit. Dominic Mysterio became the most hated man in wrestling under their guidance. Liv Morgan transformed from someone who couldn't maintain momentum to save her life into a legitimate main event player. The track record speaks for itself. So what makes Raquel think she can stand alone against that machine? And here's the question I need you to answer in the comments right now. Do you think Raquel Rodriguez made the right call rejecting Judgment Day? Or did she just end her own push? Drop your answer below because I'm genuinely curious if I'm the only one who sees the writing on the wall here. But let's dig deeper into the psychology of this rejection because there's layers to this that WWE either brilliantly planned or accidentally stumbled into. Raquel Rodriguez has always been positioned as this strong, independent competitor who doesn't need anybody. She's the girl who can go toe-to-toe with the men in training, who lifts opponents twice her size, who's got that legitimate tough person aura that you can't. For her character to accept help from Judgment Day would fundamentally change who she is as a performer. It would be like asking Stone Cold Steve Austin to join the corporation. It goes against everything the character represents. However, and this is a massive however, WWE has a terrible track record of protecting lone wolves who don't align with factions. Remember when Drew McIntyre went solo and spent months just existing without real direction? Remember when Becky Lynch came back and tried to do her own thing outside of faction warfare? The business has evolved, and modern WWE storytelling revolves heavily around group dynamics. Cody Rhodes has his allies. Roman Reigns had the bloodline. Even solo acts like Gunther eventually need backup when the numbers game comes into play. So Raquel rejecting this support might feel good in the moment, but 3 months from now when she's losing to Judgment Day interference in every match, we're all going to remember this moment as the beginning of her downfall. Now let me hit you with something that's going to make you rewatch that Raw segment with completely different eyes. What if this entire rejection was planned by both parties? What if Liv Morgan and Judgment Day knew Raquel would say no, and they made the offer publicly just to humiliate her when they inevitably destroy her in the coming weeks? Think about it. Judgment Day doesn't do anything without calculated purpose. They didn't randomly decide to recruit Raquel out of the kindness of their hearts. They saw an opportunity to either add an incredible talent to their ranks or create a new enemy that they can systematically dismantle to prove their dominance. Either way, Judgment Day wins. Raquel walked right into a trap disguised as an opportunity, and she doesn't even realize it yet. The Raw crowd went absolutely insane when Raquel delivered that rejection. The pop was real, the energy was electric, and for that one moment, it felt like we were watching a true baby. Throw in someone like Zoe Stark who needs a refresh. Maybe even bring back someone like Rhea Ripley if she ever decides she's done with her current arc. Suddenly you've got a legitimate threat to Judgment Day's dominance, and the women's division has a faction war that could main event pay-per-views. But that's fantasy booking, and we all know WWE rarely follows through on the obvious good ideas. Here's a question for the comments section, and I want detailed answers on this one. Who would you put in a faction with Raquel Rodriguez to battle Judgment Day? Give me 3 names and explain why. The best answer gets pinned, so make it good. The more I analyze this situation, the more I realize we're watching either the beginning of something incredible or the slow-motion car crash of another wasted opportunity. Raquel Rodriguez has all the tools to be a megastar. She's got the look, she's got the skills, she's got the intensity that crowds respond to. But WWE is a machine that chews up and spits out people who don't play the political game correctly. And rejecting the most powerful faction on your brand? That's not playing it safe, that's gambling with your entire career trajectory. Let's talk about Liv Morgan's reaction for a second because that was telling. She didn't look angry. She didn't look hurt. She looked almost amused, like she expected this exact response and was already 3 steps ahead in whatever game she's playing. Liv has become a master manipulator under the Judgment Day umbrella. She's gone from being the underdog everyone roots for to being the calculating leader who always has a backup plan. If she's not worried about Raquel's rejection, then maybe we shouldn't be worried about Raquel. Or maybe we should be very worried because Liv knows something we don't about what's coming next for anyone who stands against Judgment Day. The wrestling world is built on alliances and betrayals. Every great story involves someone choosing a side or refusing. So here we are, at a crossroads in WWE storytelling that could go 100 different directions. Raquel Rodriguez is standing alone against a hurricane, armed with nothing but her pride and her fists. It's romantic. It's heroic. It's also potentially career suicide. But you know what? Maybe that's exactly what WWE needs right now. Maybe we need someone who's willing to stand on principle even when it's the harder path. Maybe we need a reminder that not everyone in this business is for sale, that not everyone can be bought with promises of protection and championship opportunities. But I'll leave you with this final thought that's going to keep you up tonight. What if Raquel eventually does join Judgment Day after they break her down week after week? What if this rejection was just the first chapter in a story that ends with her betraying everything she claimed to stand for? Because that would be the ultimate heel turn, wouldn't it? The woman who stood for independence and strength, finally broken and absorbed into the machine she swore she'd never join. That's the story that would make wrestling history, and that's the story I'm terrified WWE might actually be telling. Drop your predictions below, hit that like button if this made you think differently about the whole situation, and subscribe because we're going to be following this story every single week until it reaches its inevitable explosive conclusion. Raquel Rodriguez just declared war on Judgment Day, whether she realizes it or not, and we're all about to find out if she's brave or just foolish. See you in the next one.